Hi rock fans. Hi everyone. Okay, I just finished a list of my top 10 favorite rock artists of the 80s. And first of all, here are some honorable mentions. The Stray Cats, really like the Stray Cats, but they're not in my list. Also like The Cult, but once again, they didn't make my list. The Police, Love and Rockets, they could be number 11 at the moment, but maybe in the future they could be in the list. How I also like a bit of Van Halen, a bit of Queen, a bit of Kiss. I like Kiss in the very early 80s, but after that, also like a little bit of Neil Young. But this is a top 10 list, as you know. And for that top 10 list, I'm not gonna rank these artists, from number 10 to number 1, like I did sometimes because I found it very hard. So, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna start that list with my 5 least favorite rock artists of the 80s from my top 10 list. Okay, I'm gonna start with my 5 least favorite, and I will finish that list with my top 5 favorite rock artists of the 80s. So here we go. So the first artist in any order, from number 10 to number 6 in any order. Okay, the first artist is Tom Petty. Tom Petty has a solo artist, or Tom Petty with the Heartbreakers. And this is my favorite album, and I guess this is the same thing for most of you. Full Moon Fever, this was his best album, best debut solo debut album. Also like albums like Hard Promises, Long After Dark, albums he did with the Heartbreakers. So Tom Petty is in the list. Okay, the next one is John Cougar, Mr. John Cougar Mellencamp. My favorite albums are Scarecrow and Ha Ha, my two favorite John Cougar albums, but I also like albums like Big Daddy. So John Cougar. Okay, the next one is a rock band, heavy metal rock band. And I'm talking about the Scorpions. And these are the two best albums in my opinion. In my opinion, their two best albums they released in the 80s. I'm talking about Love at First Sting and of course Blackout. Also like Animal Magnetism. So the Scorpions. Okay, next band is AC/DC. Three great albums released in the 80s. Back in Black, For Those About to Rock, and Flick of the Switch. And I love AC/DC better in the 70s, the Bon Scott era, but they did some good stuff in the 80s too. So AC/DC. Okay, the next artist is Iron Maiden, and they would be probably number 6, in my whole list. But as I said, it could change, and most of their albums are good in the 80s. This was their best decade, of course. Their debut and self-titled album, Iron Maiden, Killers, The Number of the Beast, my favorite Iron Maiden album, Peace of Mind, Power Slave, almost everything they did in the 80s was good. So these were my 5 least favorite artists of the 80s from my top 10 list, as I said. Now, here are my top 5 favorite rock artists of the 80s. In any order, except for number 1 and number 2. Number 1 and number 2 are officially number 1 and number 2 for me. Okay, so first artist from that top 5 favorite is the Ramones. Just like AC/DC, I love the Ramones. I think they were better, in the 70s than they were in the 80s, but they were still good in the 80s. And strangely enough, this album, End of the Century, was their best-selling album, and it's a fine one. They also did Too Tough to Die, which is one of their most popular albums of the 80s, I think. What else? Subterranean Jungle, Animal Boy. So the Ramones were still good in the 80s. Okay, the next artist is Sonic Youth. They released, I think, 5 albums in the 80s. I was not too crazy about their first 2 albums, but their third, fourth, and fifth albums were pretty good. And I'm talking about Evil, Sisters, and Daydream Nation. One of their best albums for sure. And this is probably my second favorite Sonic Youth album. Sonic Youth. Okay, the next artist is the Jesus and Mary Chain. They released only 3 albums in the 80s, but 3 great albums. Their first one, Psycho Candy, Darklands, and Automatic, and I love these 3 albums. So the Jesus and Mary Chain. And they also released, that compilation album, Barbed Wire Kisses. Okay, so the next artist is R.E.M. And R.E.M. is my official second favorite rock artist of the 80s. And they did some real good stuff. Life's Rich Pageant, which is my favorite R.E.M. album. What can I say about Murmur? Such a great album. Document, Reckoning. So, as I said, R.E.M. is at number 2. This is official. And my official favorite rock artist, official favorite rock album, official favorite rock band of the 80s for me is U2. And everything they did in the 80s was so great, in my opinion. I'm talking about their debut album, Boy, and even October. Some people don't really like October, but I think it's a good album. And this was their golden era, with albums like War, The Unforgettable Fire, the Joshua Tree. Achtung Baby was another great album too, but it was released in the 90s. So U2, favorite rock artist, favorite rock band of the 80s. So that was it for that top 10 list. I hope that you enjoyed, and I'd like to know what is your list, what is your top 10 favorite rock artists of the 80s. So thanks for watching, and see you for my next video.